What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another predicted lineup video, and it is our biggest game of the season as of yet. AC Milan in the second leg of the last 16 of the Champions League. We need to win by 2 clear goals if we're going to go through into the next round, seeing as we are 1-0 down from the first leg. Antonio Conte is back, people, and he's been talking in his pre-match press conference. And what is the team news?
There's no new injury news. We know Lloris, Bissouma, Bentancur and Ryan Sessegnon are all still long-term absentees, but Eric Dyer is added to the players not available for this game due to a suspension for yellow cards, which he picked up at AC Milan in the San Siro. So he'll be missing for this game, but other than that, everyone else is available. But there is quite a sizable amount of players not available for this game.
And 4 of those are like long-term absentees as well, which is not great, but Eric Dyer will be back for the next game. But let's talk about our predicted lineup, and we're going for a 3-4-3 formation as per usual. And in goal is obviously going to be Fraser Forster. And I think as much as we were worried about Fraser Forster coming in, he's been all right, hasn't he?
He's settled. He's pretty solid. He's looking pretty solid at the moment. I do still think you know, if you hit it low and there's still some fallibilities in him, but when he's well protected, he's fairly solid. So
when you keep it nowhere near his goal, he's all right.
He's all right. So hopefully he'll be well protected on Wednesday.
Yeah, so Fraser in goal. Right wing back, we're going to go for Emerson Royale. I just feel like we just need that defensive solidity, especially with Rafael Leao and Theo Hernandez on that side, don't we?
Exactly, that's the danger side. I think you need Emerson there on that side. I wouldn't want to have Porro there, as much as Porro has started the last 2, although we've lost them both. I just think Emerson brings that stability. He has been nursing a bit of a knee injury, but there's no doubt he'll be available for this game after coming on late against Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely. So Emerson on the right centre back as well. Cuti Romero going to be vitally important in this game for similar reasons why we just said for Emerson.
Yeah, and he struggled a bit in the San Siro, Romero, actually, but he has followed that up with some really strong performances. So he's going to be massive if we're going to really dominate AC Milan and pen them in.
Absolutely. In the central centre-back position, it's only one choice that we've got there is Clement Longley, seeing as Eric Dyer is out suspended.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting if he's up against Olivier Giroud, because Giroud's a doubt, but he's travelled, so I think he's going to play. Or it could be Zlatan, or it could be Divock Origi, but probably it's still going to be Giroud. He came on, I think, last game, Zlatan. But Longley not being the most physical centre backs, I do worry about him against Giroud if he can physically dominate him and get ahead of him. So that is a slight worry if they allow Giroud to kind of relieve the pressure and bring other players into play. But hopefully Romero can help with that, and Davis as well. So, but Longley's going to have a bit of a battle up again on his hands, I reckon.
Most definitely,
especially aerially, because they're swinging crosses. He's just not the best aerially, Longley.
Yeah, I think the only thing that we got going for us in terms of that situation is that AC Milan haven't been the greatest attacking team since the return of the World Cup. Not scoring many goals at all, but on the flip side, not really conceding many goals either. So hopefully Clement Longley can step up to the occasion. On the left-hand side of that back 3, as my brother just said, Ben Davis is going to step in, and I think Ben Davis as well, he's performing at a fairly okay level. Yeah,
a lot of people would probably want him back at left wing back where we beat Chelsea and West Ham, but I do think he's going to go back to left centre back just due to necessity, and I agree, he's been pretty decent recently, so hopefully he keeps that up.
Yeah, and then to make up that back 5 on the left-hand side, we're going to go for Ivan Perisic. He's played a lot of football, man. In the last week, he's played 2 games. Not great performances, 90 minutes as well. So I worry big time for Ivan Perisic in this game, to be fair. If it was up to me, I'll probably stick Pedro Porro there. But I can still understand why he would go for Perisic. But with his age, with his aging legs, I mean, I really worry about him in this game.
Yeah, it is a bit of a worry, for sure, as the game wears on. If he's not impacting the game, then he's only going to get tired and probably he's only going to get worse. So that's something to consider. I do think they're going to start him just due to his experience. He'll know AC Milan, he knows he knows the Italian teams as well. And I think with Conte back in England as well, I think he's going to want to go with one of his trusted players. So Perisic probably comes back in. He needs to perform much better in this game than he has in the last 2 if we're going to seriously hurt AC Milan going back the other way. But yeah, I think Perisic keeps his place on the left.
Yeah, I'd just be so much more confident playing Perisic if he hadn't played those 2 games in the space of a week. and we're asking him now to play 3 games in the space of 10 days. I mean, it's a big ask. It's a big ask. But let's run through that back line with you guys one more time. So it's Fraser Forster in goal, Emerson on the right, Perisic on the left, Romero, Longley, Davis back 3. In the midfield, I think it's going to be a familiar midfield since Bentancur has been injured. And first player we're going to talk about is Ollie Skipp, who's been absolutely brilliant since his return to the team.
Yeah, and he was brilliant out in Milan as well. I think he's been probably our best player over the last few games. Whenever he started, was one of the shining lights in our defeat to Wolves as well. So got no doubt about Skipp coming in. Although Sarr was brilliant in the game against Milan last time out, I think Skipp will keep his place.
And alongside him will be Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I mean, it's an interesting one with Højbjerg because he was starting to really perform like he was maybe in the early stages of the season. But now, since we're asking him to play 2 games a week again, I think performances have slightly dipped.
Yeah, hopefully back on home comforts where he had really good games against Chelsea and West Ham. Hopefully he'll be back to those levels. I thought the first half against Wolves he played really well before retiring and then all of a sudden looking quite lethargic. But hopefully Skipp and Højbjerg can be as good as they were in the first half against Wolves for the whole game, but it's a big ask.
Seeing as we saw how both Højbjerg and Skipp tied in that second half against Wolves, is there a case for Pape Matar Sarr in this game?
I think there probably is, but I would just say just because of their experience and they have a partnership together, and they have been playing quite well together. So I don't see that changing. I just think we should use Sarr earlier if they're getting tired for sure. I think we should bring him on earlier.
All right, so that's double pivot of Højbjerg and Ollie Skipp. Now the front line on the right hand side, we're going to look at Dejan Kulusevski. And again, like, he hasn't been himself, even though he has had slightly better performances over the last few games or so. I still want to see a lot more from Dejan Kulusevski to really hurt this Milan side. Yeah,
and he's going to be really crucial if we're going to open up Milan. I think he's going to be one of the ones who are going to have the keys to unlock them. So I do think his performances have improved of late. That includes the Wolves game. I did think he was decent in that game as well, but hasn't quite hit the levels of earlier in the season still. So still want more from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Up top is obviously going to be Harry Kane. Going to be vitally important to us as he always is, and I really want to see him dropping deep and causing that havoc that he does do in the middle of the park and providing for the runners in Kulusevski and Heung-min Son.
Yeah, he's going to be crucial. If we can get him to make the ball stick, and if we can get him to somehow turn and be facing the goal, then I think that opens up the game completely for us. But if he's just getting bullied and if he's not only getting the ball with his back to goal and not able to turn, then I think we're going to struggle. So I think a lot rides on what Harry Kane turns up.
And then to make up that final 11 on the left-hand side, toss up between Richarlison and Heung-min Son. We have sided with Heung-min Son in this game. I think that Richarlison, he's done okay since he's come in. No goals, though, and not really too much of an attacking threat. I mean, he works hard. Defensive job is on point. But I think Sonny, in the last couple of games, you're seeing signs of him, starting to really appear in this season and hurt the opposition. I thought he was the most dangerous out of the front three in the last game against Wolves, so I think he's got to keep his place.
Yeah, and I think in this kind of game, you can't risk not like having Son off the bench just to bring him on to kill the game, because you need to go and score. We're losing already, so we need to score from the off, and I think we need to make sure try and get Sonny in those kind of positions. And if we can, then it can make all the difference. But I just think we need someone who we know when he gets in those opportunities, he's clinical and will finish his chances. Whereas Richarlison at the moment is not even getting the chances, so I don't think we can risk having him from the start. So I think Son has to play.
All right, well, let's run through that lineup with you guys one more time. So it's a 3-4-3 formation with Fraser Forster in goal, Romero, Longley and Davis as a back three, Perisic on the left, Emerson on the right, Højbjerg and Skipp as the double pivot with Kulusevski and Heung-min Son supporting Harry Kane. If this is the lineup, what is your prediction?
I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1?
3-1 Spurs. I'm going to go for it in normal time. 3-1 in normal time. I'm going to hope that we're clinical going forward. I do think AC Milan will probably have enough to get a goal, but I'm just hoping that they've been actually pretty poor away from home, AC Milan. Even since moving to a back three, they've lost 2 of their last 3 games, including on the weekend, albeit on our home form has actually been pretty strong. And also we haven't lost a home in the Champions League this season. So I'm hoping that will go in our favour and we'll end up 3-1 winners.
I'm going 2-0 to Spurs. I think we are going to keep the clean sheet. I think we will be defensively solid with the likes of Romero and Emerson in that back 5. I do worry about Perisic. Like I said before, if it was up to me, I'd probably stick Porro out on that side. But I'm hoping and praying for a magical night under the lights, another European night in that all-white at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I'm going for Tottenham to win 2-0 on the night. I want to know your predicted scorelines. I want to know your predicted lineup, and I want to know your thoughts on our predicted lineup as well. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.